Right, we are in Penge. It's Saturday, the last summer jam of the year here, courtesy of London Calling Blog. Today is 9th of September and the weather forecast is 34 degrees. A scorcher. It'll be my third piece on the rooftop here. Rooftop? What is a rooftop? Third rooftop piece here. So I'm very accustomed to the scorching heat of this frying pan. No cloud in sight. This is one of the few remaining walls I haven't painted here. Let's smash it. And at least I'm starting day in shade. Okay, 2 hours later, the sketch is down. Bit of a mess, as it's super hot. I'm making the most of the shade. I don't need to rush. I'm taking it easy, slow. The sun is almost in the lens. Can you tell what it is? Can you see much? Anyhow, let us go to the folding station and see what's creasing. I usually have a dozen ideas bouncing in my head. But when a specific wall comes up at a short notice, my mind goes blank. Decision paralysis. I'm overthinking. I care too much as my passion for this art is more than a hobby. But perhaps it would be better for my street art to be just that, a hobby. When I was a child, I used to have 4 aquariums in my childhood room. I looked through family photos, but I couldn't find a picture. This is strange because that hobby was so important to me that I even competed on a county level. Sadly, I have no photo evidence of this. When I came to London, I had a small fish tank. It was my way of trying to feel at home. All of the London fish died within a month. My favorite fish to keep was angelfish, hence my inspiration for this model. A hobby should be a drug of choice, a way of escapism with no side effects. From a handful of zippy bags, I had to find one not too big, not too small for the balance and easy identification of the paper model inside. I didn't have a right size, so I have to adapt. I trimmed the excess for the perfect fitting. It's important for this scene to have a well-balanced aesthetics. It takes precision. I'm trying to figure out the perfect positioning of the model between the layers of plastic. I pinned the bag on the wall as I want a realistic drop shadow behind. Adding to realism. This stage demands utmost patience. It really took me much fiddling to position all the elements. Unfortunately, I didn't have a fresh new bag. All of them are crinkled and creased. I am worried this will introduce lots of fractured highlights. The choice of light color is straightforward to give the scene an underwater ambience. My intuition was right. First problem is too many reflections. The old crinkly bag fractures 3 sources of different light in a confusing pattern. It might be clear in the final reference photo, but such finesse of light is utmost difficult detail to paint. I need to go back. First, I focus on the top ambient white light. I don't want any direct highlights over the angelfish. Trial and error ensues. Lots of readjustments. Back and forth. It takes me 2 evenings to get it right. The process repeats for both color lights. I want to avoid prominent reflections over the main elements, which would result in difficulty in identifying each object. Finally, I get the seam equilibrium just right. And there it is. In terms of size, the origami fish is not that prominent. It's just one of many elements, but all I'm after today is painting some plastic reflections, simply because I enjoy painting plastic reflections. It's midday and it's already 30 degrees Celsius. The saving grace is the shade. I'm safe for the next hour or so. Yeah, let's start painting. Right, it's not going good. For the last hour and a half, I've been fiddling with those string seals at the very top of the bag. I knew about these electricity cables from photos, but I downplayed how protruding these are. I even tried to reposition the sketch to avoid them, but then the bag wouldn't be evenly displayed across this wall. This mural would be definitely spoiled by the artwork not being balanced properly across its canvas, rather than these fine strings not being photorealistic enough. I've been here for the last 5 hours and I have nothing to show. I'm not feeling it at all. These stringy seals, maybe it's been too long since the last time I painted them. But also, I need to remember that these details are not the focal point of the piece. It's all about the origami and the reflection on the main paper bag. So I think you'll be alright. Time for the massive paperclip. I've never painted the big paper clips, only the tiny ones. No difference, but I just have it here for the scale, right? The origami. It's 4 p.m. You can tell how dramatic the situation is because for the very first time I'm wearing a bucket hat. It's that hot. Hello. 33 degrees here in London. I'm tired. The good thing is I don't have a heat stroke. The bad thing, the progress is super slow. If you want to hear a joke, I thought it was a one-day piece. It's not a one-day piece. I thought it was simple enough and I'll be done today. Well, the origami is simple. I don't like the top, apart from the pin. I'm quite good at painting pins. Thumb pins. That's the name of it. Right, I've done the fish, well, some inner folds. So tomorrow I can focus on simple sections of the origami model. I reworked some of the seal. Probably you can't see much difference, but it was worth it as they are now cleaner and more defined. I'm happy that I decided to stick with the original angle of the bag. Any repositioning of the bag to avoid these cables and service box wouldn't be worth it. I'm done. Home time. Day 2, not much to be said. I'm working on the fish. I'm grateful for this shade. Okay, these fins were 30 minutes. Really happy. I really excel on the tiny folds, and I struggle with big folded surfaces. I'm referring back to Kosovo Dragon. On big surfaces, I struggle with dissipation of multicolored light, especially when they cross each other. Yeah, here, look at the scale. The detail here is phenomenal. Origami porn alert. Okay, last stretch. Done the most of the fish, just the bottom fin, and I'll be cleaning it up. You know how it goes. I'm always underestimating the amount of time it will take me to paint a piece, just to make the most of the painting time. Let me not stress about the photos. I'll come next week. As if you've seen chalk, there are too many nuances painting lines on folded paper, making sure it's parallel, so you need to measure it out. And if you make a mistake, it's easier to fix it. You can just brush it off. Same with the letters, you know, it helps me to set them out. But obviously here I f***ed up with a messy tiny pink. I have a love and hate relationship with stencil cup, tiny pink, tiny pink. Right, it worked. I'm done with the fish. Cleanup, really excited. Yeah, it's coming out really good. Angel fish, that is, right? Well done me. The jumbo paper clip is done. The top seal and the pin is done. And the angel fish is done. Right now it's time for highlights. It has become a bit windy, so it's a challenge, but we shall prevail. We are nearing the end. Surprise, surprise, I have 40 minutes to do the drop shadow and sign it. An origami angel fish in a zip bag is done. Wow. And here's the zipped origami fish.
This is the first zipper bag I painted this year. The last time I painted a zipper bag was over a year ago, so I kind of gone rusty. I kind of forgot how to paint it, but do you agree effect is great? Is it great? Comment down below. Initially, I planned this piece to be a one-day piece, but of course, whenever I'm in Penge, I'm taking my time, and I think it was worth it. Obviously, this part of the mural was most challenging because of these services here. I worked around it, I knew about it, but I did not take into consideration how protruding these are. It proved to be really technical, and maybe over these pipes, it's not as perfect as it should be. There is something that I don't like about this piece, and I was thinking really hard how this different to the first zip bags I painted. Let's compare the previous zip bags. What's different in this zip bag? This bag, when I initially photographed it, was already kind of used up and crinkled. That's why you have so many reflections that are really too intricate. And the previous zip bag murals, every time I use a perfectly clean, flat, zippy bag with no crinkles, and that made it super easy to paint because their reflection were very subtle, you know, and you can see this here, right? So this is like one highlight, but it's fragmented. There are too many crinky bits. On purpose, I did not paint many highlights over the fish because it would render it impossible to read. For example, because of those crinks, you can barely see number 3 that I painted so beautifully over the folded paper, but with the highlight, it just completely disappears. This jumbo clip really gets lost in this zippy bag because there are too many highlights. There was too much going on in the reference, you know, less is more. Well, hopefully you can recognize this is a fish in a bag. An origami angel fish in a zippy bag. Overall, very happy with this mural here in Southwest London. Thank you, London Calling blog, for inviting me here again to this curated gallery in Penge. And as always, origami riots folding all day, every day, and I'm out.